Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, G.R.N.Q just filed an 8K related to a settlement agreement, and I'm seeing a few key takeaways that matter. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. This filing details a resolution to ongoing disputes, which could finally bring some clarity for the company and its shareholders. Alright, let's dive into what Greenpro Capital Corporation, or G.R.N.Q, announced the 24th of June. The company signed a settlement agreement with Millennium Fine Art Incorporated, or M.F.A.I, to wrap up some legal battles. Think of this as a way to officially put some ongoing lawsuits and arbitration to bed. These disputes include claims related to a contract from 2021 that had to do with NFTs, which are those digital collectibles. Now, what does this settlement actually involve the company doing? Greenpro Capital will pay M.F.A.I $100,000 in cash. On top of that, they are also giving back 2 million of their restricted shares in M.F.A.I. These shares are being cancelled, meaning Greenpro Capital won't hold them anymore. This is significant because these 2 million shares represent absolutely all of Greenpro Capital's ownership stake in M.F.A.I. To understand how they got these shares, we have to go back to July 2020. Greenpro Capital had sold its 4% share in a very large carved blue sapphire, known as the Millennium Sapphire, to M.F.A.I in exchange for that sale. M.F.A.I gave Greenpro these shares. Apparently, M.F.A.I owns the whole sapphire. At the time of acquisition, these shares were about 5% of M.F.A.I's total shares and gave Greenpro about 1% of the voting power. Now, by surrendering them, Greenpro Capital is cutting ties with its entire investment in M.F.A.I, except for this settlement. The company's board gave their approval for this settlement back on the 15th of June. This shows they saw this as the best path forward to resolve these issues. The full details of this settlement agreement are available as an exhibit, which is essentially an attachment to this report. This agreement is confidential, meaning they likely cannot talk about the specifics outside of what is reported here, and it includes mutual releases. That means both parties are agreeing not to sue each other over these past disputes. Looking at the signature section, we see the report is signed by Lee Chong-Kwong, who is the Chief Executive Officer, President, and a Director of Greenpro Capital Corp. The report's signing date is the 1st of July 2026, which is a few days after the settlement agreement was actually entered into on the 24th of June. This delay is likely due to the time it takes to finalize and file these documents. Now, putting this all together, Greenpro Capital is paying a relatively small amount of cash, $100,000, and giving up its entire remaining stake in M.F.A.I to resolve these legal issues. This is a positive step because it removes uncertainty and potential future costs associated with these lawsuits. For a company like Greenpro Capital, which has a market cap of around $27 million, settling disputes without a massive cash outflow is a win. We've seen other companies struggle with prolonged legal battles, and by resolving this, Greenpro Capital can hopefully focus more on its core operations. The fact that they had to give up their entire equity in M.F.A.I suggests they found the value of resolving the dispute outweighed the value of holding those shares. This could mean the underlying NFT-related contract was causing more trouble than it was worth. My biggest concern is always how these settlements affect cash flow, but $100,000 seems manageable for Greenpro Capital. What I'm actually looking for is how this frees up management to pursue new growth opportunities. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded, like, comment, subscribe, and join our Discord for more.